Talk about mediator design pattern. This pattern is considered to be a behavioral pattern due to the way it can alter the program's running behavior. The mediator pattern defines an object that encapsulates how a set of objects interact. Communication between objects is encapsulated within a mediator object. Objects no longer communicate directly with each other, but instead communicate through the mediator. This will reduce the dependencies between communicating. Let's take an example of a chat room, where we will have multiple users that can send messages to chat room, and the chat room's responsibility is to show that message to all the users. Let's create two classes. One would be chat room and the other one would be user. User object will use chat room method to share their messages. Let's build this example and see how it works. Let's open our Visual Studio Code and create a new file called chatroom.java. Here, let's create a static method, static void print message, and let's say it takes a user object, user, and the message that it needs to print. Here we will create system.out.println, and let's say user.getName. We haven't created the user class. Let's create it once this class is created. Plus says the message. Message is the other parameter that we are getting. Now let's go ahead and create a user class. New file, user.java. That will have a private string name. And let's create getters and setters. Let's generate them. So we have created a getName method and a setName method. Now let's create a constructor, public user, that will take string name, and this dot name equals name. Now the final method within the user class would be public void print message, or this could be send message. Within this, we would say chatroom dot print message, the user that we need to send, that is this object, and the message. Now we have created a user class. Let's go ahead and create our main class. That would be mediator.java. This will have a main method. Within this, let's create users Amanda equals new user and pass in the message. With this, first let's create the name. This will take in name argument Amanda. Now let us go ahead and create one more user called John equals new user John. So now let's use John object to send or print a message to how are you. So now John is saying how are you, within the chat room, we should receive that message as how are you, and then Amanda dot print message, she says fine. Now let's look at this main method. User, first we have created a user object, Amanda, and John, another user object, by passing their names. Then we use that object to print the message to the chat room. So within the chat room, we would see that message, how are you? Similarly, Amanda responds back saying fine. Now let's go ahead and compile these files. javac dot java. It had compiled all the class files within this folder. Now let us go ahead and run our main method. Now if you see here, it goes into the chat room and then it gets the username, John says, and the message that we have sent. Similarly, Amanda sends that message to the chat room, and that message, based on the user object that is passed, we will see that Amanda says fine. This is a very basic example that uses mediator pattern. This could be used for other complex classes where we could have other use cases. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching.